Hey everybody, welcome back, and thank you for joining me here on the Print 3D channel. I want to share something very cool with you guys. This is the 3D printed Christmas Advent Calendar, and during the last 25 days of the 3DP 365 project, I've also been printing out the parts of this very cool project. And now we have the star to complete the tree, and I really want to share it with you guys, so stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back, and thank you for joining me here for this very special Christmas episode. During the last 25 days of the month of December, while I've also been doing the 3DP 365 project, every night we've also been printing out and posting over on Twitter our progress on the 3D printed Advent Calendar. And here we are on day 25, it's Christmas Day, and now we have the star to go on top. And the star actually turned out pretty good. I did have some curling on 3 of the points, but I think it adds a little bit more character. I was kind of in a hurry to get it printed because I didn't want to have anything printing overnight on Christmas Eve for the first time in a long time. And I kind of rushed through it, and I really wasn't checking my first layer, and it kind of curled up on 3 of the corners. Now, it's not that bad, but you can see it if you've ever seen something 3D printed before. But the rest of the print turned out really good. There is some surface defects here because I did have to reduce my nozzle width down to 0.4 millimeters to pick up the words Merry Christmas 2017. But the print itself, it turned out awesome. This is some of that Standard PRO Series filament. This is their silver, and it really looks cool, even with the little bit of defects and, of course, the little bit of curling on those top 3 points of the star. But it turned out awesome. Plus, it completes our tree. Now, I have to be careful here. Some of the parts may fall out, and I'm sorry, headphone users, if that happens. But that completes the tree. Now, I went ahead and super glued together all the green tree parts, and I'm going to leave all the parts that are prizes out. So next year, when we open this up, we can use it again, and I can just probably change this to Merry Christmas 2018, and we can use it again. Now, some of them are wedged in there pretty good, so it might take a little bit of effort to get them out. But I really love this project, and I really wanted to put the spotlight on Tom Van de Bon. I'll put the link down in the description for this very, very cool project down, so you guys can check it out yourself. If you haven't been following me along on Twitter, you probably missed the fact that we actually have been printing this all along too, along with the 3DP 365 project. But this isn't about me today. This is really about Tom Van de Bon and all those designers that put all this work into this very cool 3D printing project. And it's very cool because each day the prize was released. Now you could go ahead and print ahead on the tree parts, but I noticed that some of them had been updated with the prizes. So I actually printed out the tree parts and the prizes on each day. Now some of them were multicolor prints, and some of them were really easy. Some of them were very challenging. Now I want to highlight a couple of these models on here. Now the heart may fall out, so if it falls out, I'm sorry, headphone users. But this was one of the most challenging parts of it, and this is a tiny, tiny little Jeep. This is actually a remix of a model that's designed for CNC, and the designer took all the parts, put them together, and made a little tiny Jeep model. Now the whole thing was built on support, and it printed upside down, which was really, really cool. And that was the way it came in, so I thought, you know what, let's give it a shot. And it actually printed out. And all the detail on that tiny little Jeep is there. And I'll have some pictures at the end and some time-lapse of some of the parts printing. I didn't film all the time-lapses for all 25 days, because actually there'd be probably more like 50 to 60 time-lapses, because some of these were multicolor, multi-part prints. But this Jeep was one of the highlights because it's really, really tiny, and it took a little bit of tweaking and Simplify 3D to really get my settings dialed in to get this to print. Some of the other cool parts on here, and I really love this design. I mean, there's so many things to point out. There's this, I'm going to be careful and take this out, is the Grinch model, oop, that heart almost fell out, for day 24. Now, if you saw this over on Twitter, you already seen this, but this model actually turned out really good. And what I did is because the little roof or the chimney brim here area, it was actually above where the Grinch is starting, so I didn't want to have any Grinch printed in the black color. So I did the separated connected surfaces in Simplify 3D, and I moved this brim off and printed it separately, and then I super glued it back on. But I also used, again, I used the extrusion width down to 0.43 or 0.44, and it really picked up all the detail. I'm sure you guys can see that. I mean, it is a tiny, tiny little Grinch, and all the characteristics in his face turned out really, really good. So I'm going to put this guy back. Some of the other highlights of the print were the little snowman. This was actually pretty difficult, and I'm just going to take the heart out because it's going to fall. One of the other highlights was this little snowman fence and Christmas tree. Now I did run this through Make Printable because my nozzle or my settings in Simplify 3D just weren't picking it up no matter what I did my nozzle with. I went down to all the way down to 0.4 and it was still kind of messy in here. So I thought I'll just run it through Make Printables free file fixing, and it fixed it and it printed. And it actually turned out really good. I mean, you can actually see the fence post and the cross railings in there. They actually printed. I mean, it's a tiny, tiny little model. This would probably work a lot better with an SLA printer. But my gMax 1.5 XT Plus did a stellar job on all the prints. Now, we did use Matter Hackers filament on everything on this. There's Standard Series plus Pro Series. It's all mixed up. There's all kinds of different filament on here, but it is all Matter Hackers filament. And it's a really cool project. Like I said, it was so much fun to print. A huge shout out to Tom Vandebon and all those teams, the team of designers that went through and made all these cool little models for this. And I really want to hand it to Tom big time for being very patient and making sure he released each prize model on a daily basis and giving us just enough time to print it so we could show it off. And it really turned out awesome. This is such a cool project. I really love it. I can't wait to put it into use again next year, and maybe he'll update it again for next year. Maybe Tom, you'll update it again for 2018. And that would be very cool as a community project where we could all participate and make our own little addition to this too, and do maybe a new design. But for now, I'm really happy with this awesome 3D printed Christmas Advent calendar. I really love the design. It was so much fun to print. Thank you again, Tom, for sharing this with everybody. And I really can't wait to use it again next year. Well, that about wraps it up for this very special Christmas episode. I really want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, or however you celebrate your holiday season this year, to all the people out there in the 3D printing community, all my subscribers and followers, everybody on Instagram and Twitter, and even on Facebook. I know I don't post on Facebook anymore, but I don't think anybody else does. But yes, Merry Christmas to everyone. I hope you guys have a really awesome holiday. And I can't wait to share with you guys what's going on for the next week as we wrap up the 3DP 365 project. We've got some cool prints ahead, and then we're going to wrap it up next weekend with a live broadcast. And I really hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share those videos. And I hope you guys have a very safe and wonderful holiday.